All right, let's get right to it. Welcome to what is, without a doubt, the most important briefing of your entire career. I'm Dr. Damian Wolf. I've been a senior researcher here for a little over 15 years. My background is mostly in psychology and metaphysics and, well, let's just say with an IQ of 186, the higher-ups tend to toss me the assignments everyone else thinks are frankly impossible. But hey, it keeps things interesting, right? So here we are. I'm bringing you up to speed on a highly classified operational reality. Just by sitting in those chairs, you've been granted Level 4/2000 clearance. Now, if you somehow skipped the cognitive hazard inoculations at the door, well, security's going to be dragging you out pretty shortly. For the rest of you, congratulations, and heaven help you. Today we're unpacking the exact systems that keep humanity kicking when the universe decides we shouldn't be.
Here's a quick look at our itinerary for this explainer. We're going to start with the threat, meaning K-class scenarios. Then we'll look at our ultimate failsafe, SCP-2000. After that, we'll dive into the anomalous technology and safety protocols, followed by CYA-009 and the Lazarus protocols. And we'll wrap up with what I call the burden of survival.
All right, Section 1, the threat, K-class scenarios.
Look, I need to completely strip away any lingering sense of security you might have brought with you from your last posting. You are in this room for one simple reason. The world ends. In fact, statistically speaking, it ends quite a lot. And it is entirely on us to hit the reset button. Our baseline threat here is a K-class scenario. Now, formally, this encompasses hypothetical situations that drastically alter normality, reality, or just flat-out end the world or the universe. But you and I know they are very, very real. When primary containment fails, when our absolute best just isn't enough to hold back the dark, a K-class event is exactly what happens next.
Now, what's truly terrifying is the sheer variety of doom on our menu. We categorize these scenarios so we know exactly what kind of mess we're recovering from. On the physical extinction side, you've got your XK-class scenario. That's your standard run-of-the-mill apocalypse, humanity wiped out, Earth scorched, classic doomsday stuff. Then there's the NK-class, which is self-replicating contamination. Think of an anomalous object just reproducing out of control until the whole planet is essentially replaced by gray goo. But then we get to the reality-based extinction events. And as a metaphysicist, these are the ones that really give me the chills. A ZK-class scenario means reality itself is fundamentally broken or completely erased, usually because physics just gave up. And an AK-class scenario? That is memetic madness. A behavior spreads anomalously until society completely collapses simply because people prioritize the madness over their own basic survival. Different scenarios, different recovery responses, sure, but they all lead us to one exact place.
Moving on to Section 2, the failsafe, SCP-2000. So, when those XKs or ZKs hit and we have utterly and completely failed, we play our ultimate trump card. Hidden right in plain sight, deep beneath a disused park ranger station out in Yellowstone National Park is a massive subterranean installation. The really mission-critical sections are sitting safely between 75 and 100 meters underground. Honestly, the sheer engineering scale of this place is just beautiful. It operates totally off the grid. It's powered by a 1 gigawatt liquid fluoride thorium reactor that can run at maximum capacity for 70 years straight. And if that wasn't enough, it's backed up by a geothermal generator tapping right into the region's volcanic activity. It keeps the whole facility on standby indefinitely. It is literally a fully self-sustaining ark.
But what exactly is inside this ark? Well, take a look at this number. 500,000. That is the exact number of Bright/Zartanian hominin replicators, or BZHR units, housed inside this facility. And let me be clear, these are not just simple cloning vats. They are absolute marvels of bioengineering, directly connected to a massive memory bank that houses data on literally all known human alleles.
Which brings us to our next big number, 100,000. At peak capacity, after just a short 5-day warm-up period, SCP-2000 can pump out 100,000 viable, completely non-anomalous human beings every single day. We use raw materials siphoned from underground magma flows and hot springs, and these units can essentially recreate lost genomes, age a human to any desired point, and then seamlessly implant memories using Class G hallucinogenics and targeted hypnotherapy. Guys, we literally have the backups of humanity's neural archetypes just sitting on a hard drive. We can literally print a brand new civilization.
Okay, Section 3, anomalous technology and safety.
Now, obviously, surviving a reality-ending ZK-class scenario requires some pretty heavily esoteric defenses. To protect the facility from any hostile anomalous interference, especially from type green reality benders, the entire exterior is lined with Scranton reality anchors built out of beryllium bronze. These SRAs are arranged in a hexagonal grid every 20 meters. If you're on staff, you absolutely must check their functions semi-annually and swap out components following document SRA 033 to the letter. And hey, listen up, because this is practical life-saving advice. If you are a level 6/2000 maintenance tech, you never, ever reveal that status. Period. Operational secrecy is absolutely paramount here. If you get compromised, our entire lifeboat sinks. And frankly, I really don't feel like drowning today.
All right, so beyond those reality anchors locking down physical space, we also use XX temporal sinks. These bad boys use electromagnetic radiation and tachyon fields to maintain a totally static causal environment. In plain English, if some temporal anomaly tries to go back and rewrite history so that SCP-2000 was never actually built, the temporal sinks make sure we stay completely unaffected. They need monthly maintenance. Finally, we've got the pseudo-Riemannian manifold. This is some incredibly advanced modern physics that generates 10 square kilometers of negative space, which is the only reason a facility this massive actually fits underground. Now, if this temporal stability ever fails, the emergency procedure is to trigger Protocol Dead Euclid 101 immediately. That recreates the manifold before the whole structure just collapses in on itself.
Moving right along to Section 4, CY009 and the Lazarus Protocols.
Okay, picture this. The world has ended. Everything is gone, but the facility has survived. Now what? Well, the activation sequence to actually hit that reset button is incredibly structured. Step 1. The Ganymede protocol automatically kicks in the moment the Foundation fails to prevent a K-class event. Step 2. Facility security unlocks, which allows us to initiate procedure CYA-009. The system immediately scans for mission-critical personnel. If they're dead, it just replicates them using their most recent neuroarchetype scan and wakes them up. Step 3. These newly revived MTF and security teams are dispatched out to whatever remaining global facilities we have to confirm the integrity of local reality. We have to be absolutely sure the fire's out before we start planting new trees. Once we finally get that all-clear code, we move to Step 4, Procedure Lazarus-01.
The Lazarus-01 is, quite frankly, the chilling logistical reality of playing God. First, an authorized employee just types in a chronological resume date. Then, those BZHR units we talked about start churning out prominent political and cultural leaders, along with a global populace perfectly tailored for that specific era. Keep in mind, we have full, comprehensive backups of all art, literature, and even the internet. As the global population starts recovering, our administrative assets get to work falsifying radiometric, astronomical, and dendrochronological dating records just to maintain the illusion of seamless historical continuity. The final step is releasing an amnestic agent called ENUI-5 en masse, completely wiping the clone's memories of any Foundation involvement whatsoever. History just resumes. And, as one historian cheekily noted in our files, we try not to set the resume date too far back in time. I mean, 2 world wars is plenty, right? We really don't need to hazard a third one.
Which brings us to Section 5, the burden of survival. Look, everything I've just laid out for you requires an absolute, unyielding commitment to maintaining the veil. So you might be wondering, why on earth do we go to these extreme lengths? Let me share a little personal anecdote with you. When I first got my level 2000 clearance, I spent weeks, literally weeks, just staring at those neural archetype scanners. I suddenly realized that the me standing there in that room might just be a copy of a Damien Wolf who died screaming in some XK-class apocalypse centuries ago. The dedication required for this job means you have to accept the very real possibility that you might just be a ghost maintaining a graveyard, just so it can eventually look like a garden again. We do it because the alternative is just eternal silence.
And here's the kicker. We know for a fact that we have been in that graveyard before. We've found some deeply terrifying chronological discrepancies. For example, history says Dr. Scranton invented the reality anchor in 1889, but the original construction of SCP-2000 actually predates our known history entirely. And the most chilling piece of evidence? While a technician was doing routine repairs down in Sector 3382, they found human remains in a very advanced state of decay. Testing showed the clothing and the bones were between 450 and 700 years old, but right nearby were perfectly valid Foundation security credentials belonging to Dr. Alto Clef, a researcher who, in case you didn't know, is currently alive and walking our halls right now. Let that sink in. We have wiped out and restarted humanity multiple times.
Found directly on those 500-year-old remains of Dr. Clef was a hermetically sealed note, and I think it perfectly captures the profound mystery and the crushing weight of this new assignment you've all just been handed. It simply read, "Why did we have to build this thing? When did we do it? How long have we been doing it? Do we even know?" So, welcome to SCP-2000 personnel.
Your job, your only job from here on out, is to make absolutely sure we never have to find out the answers to those questions. Good luck out there, and Godspeed.